Hello, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm still allowed to say that. How are you doing? I hope you're well. So I am hopping on because I was just kind of thinking and swirling, and I was recalling this time when this thing happened that I want to share with you today, a personal story. I just flashed out of nowhere, and it just made me kind of smile, but I think it's a really relevant conversation to have, especially for those of you who are like me. You know, you work on yourself, you're developing and growing, and you invest in courses and programs and different solutions for your businesses and your own development. And sometimes we can get caught out with certain kinds of investments that we make, and there's some clever marketing out there. There's some very clever strategies and tactics and things. So I just wanted to share this story with you, because I know that some of you will relate to this, and also to share the energy with which I kind of went through it, and the top three things I took away from this experience, because it really taught me a hell of a lot. So I hope I'm going live on the right page here. Let's hope so. I hope I am. Anyway, so in case you're new to me, I'm Marie Fleming Grant, and I'm founder of the Awake Revolution, and I'm here to help you drop the baggage, wake up the real you, revolutionize how you think, feel, live and create to be all of who you came here to be. And yeah, that includes you if you are tuning into this message. So drop me a comment here if you're here, drop me a comment if you're watching the replay. I always love to check in and see who's tuning into the messages. So this one's a little personal story. I thought I'd have a little coffee and I'm just going to share it with you, because it suddenly just came. I'd forgotten all about this. So this was a few years ago, when I was doing a lot of like learning, and you know that phase you go through. You're doing webinars and training courses, and you end up, you know, if you're like on the spiritual path and business path and all of that kind of thing, you end up doing a lot of courses and programs and all sorts of things, right? So I jumped onto this free training, and by the way, just before I get into it, this is not about the person themselves who ran this, because it's not against them, because what they were offering for some other people, it would have been the perfect thing. But I'm talking to you about my own personal experience, right? So this particular woman, years ago, and she was running this free kind of training thing, right, which gave all the promises of, you're going to learn this, this and this. And I kind of sucked it all up. I was like, yes, I want to learn all these things. And this one was very much about like marketing. So I was very confident in the work that I do with people, but it was like, how do I sell and market? And at the time I was obsessed with my website. This was like quite a few years ago now. And I was really, I had this idea that I just needed to get my website, you know, set up in the right way. And then, right, you know that story, as soon as I do this, and then this will happen. So I had this idea that it was all external, and I needed to do the website, and I needed to get the words just right to convey what I was offering to people. And that would be the answer to my prayers and my problems. And so this training came up, and I signed up immediately. And I was on this kind of, I think it was like a 5-day thing. So every day I was tuning in to this person and really looking at her as this expert in this area. And she was kind of taking you through like all these different aspects. And it was, you know, it was a good training, and she was knowledgeable in her area. So then she started to promote this, was it like a program? Let's say, I don't want to I'm not going to give the details because I don't want to link it to anyone. So let's call it a program that she offered. And what she was doing was a typical kind of strategy you might see. She was marketing this program, and she was selling it as the solution, which was, we will, you know, write all this stuff. It will kind of produce all these website problems that you're having, and basically you'll be able to write everything that you want to write, and you'll be able to write your courses and programs and everything. So I thought, great, that solves my problem, answer to my prayers. And so every day what she did was she was offering this at a price, and then each day the price would go up. So it was like, if you want to get in, you need to get in now, because the price, I think it was doubling or something every day. And it started off really low, and I was a bit like on the fence, I wasn't sure. And as the days went by, I really started to kind of get sucked into the kind of messaging and the amazingness and the potential outcome to me and my business as a result of doing this program. And I was really like, I was really stirred up. And so in the end, I ended up going for it. I made the decision because I was so on the fence, and I was thinking, oh, if I wait till tomorrow, and this was the message, if you wait for tomorrow, the price will be like 3 times as much as it would have been initially. And I'd already lost out on the lower cost day. So I was thinking, oh, if I just go for it now, I'll actually save money, right? So I at the time, I really felt like I need to step into this version of me. A successful person will just say yes now, right? A successful person will, you know, doesn't need to sleep on it, can make a decision like this, you know, and I had all this kind of programming at the time. So I thought, right, go for it. And I even had this belief of like, even if I'm feeling real fear in investing in this thing, do it anyway, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway and overcome the limitations. So I was like on that roller coaster ride. So I signed up to this whole thing, and it was $1,000. And you know, and it's not so much about, to some listening, that's like nothing, to some of you that's like insane, to some of you it's somewhere in the middle. But at the time, spending $1,000 on anything, it may as well have been $10,000, right? So this is like early on. I wasn't making like consistent money. Everything, you know, I really didn't even know how to run anything at the time. I just wasn't even in that mindset. And there was a payment plan, so I could just kind of split it up between a year, I think. So it was like $100 or something a month, because then it added a little bit extra. So something like $100 or $90 a month. And I went for it, and I was like elated, and I was like, oh my God, I've invested in this thing, and the belief that I've invested $1,000 into this thing, it's gonna like answer everything for me, and it's an amazing like piece of kit you get, and it generates stuff for you. Anyway, so I did all that, and then I slept on it. And then the next day I went back into the last day of this training, 5-day training, and suddenly I just felt this like doom and gloom come over me. I suddenly didn't feel so inspired. I didn't feel like even the last day of the training was exciting, and I just had this horrible flat feeling, but I wasn't so sure what it was. And I thought maybe it's just the end of the week and I'm tired and la la la. So I ignored it. Anyway, training finished. It was all kind of, yeah, complete. And then I think at the weekend I decided, right, I'm going to go into this stuff that I've purchased. I'm going to, you know, create this website, and I'm going to use it to generate loads of like copy and information for my courses and programs. And I was on a roll with like loads of different things at the time. Anyway, so I went into this system, and it was going to teach me and show me how to like market, right? How to do my marketing and how to sell and how to convey, you know, what I do and what the benefits are and all of these other marketing things. You've got to, and you know, you do have to think about these things when you're in business. Well, when I went in there, I realized, like, as it was creating this for me, there was something so flat and something so missing in the way that I would convey the message. And so suddenly it was like, oh my God, I've just made a massive mistake. And it kind of hit me in the face really quickly, and I realized this is not the answer to my prayers. This is not going to take me any further. In fact, now what I've done is I've set myself up for this direct debit like every month for a year. And again, you know, probably doesn't sound like much to some people, $90 or $100, but you know, that was like a lot of money coming out when the money wasn't coming in, and it was like this commitment I made. And so I decided that I wasn't going to bail on that commitment. I have a very strict kind of policy on that, and I'd expect the same to be done in, you know, if I'm on the receiving end as well. You know, we have to honor our commitments. So I knew that I was going to kind of be stuck with this, but it was just a horrible feeling. And I remember just feeling so flat and like, what was I thinking? And it was only when I kind of came off that massive wave and I calmed the next day, I was like, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? Why did I get so sucked up into this? But it was really good marketing. There was like a buzz and a vibe, and, you know, it was exciting. And so, yeah, it really kind of, it got me. And when I was starting to reflect, and I really did a lot of reflection on it, and I started to think about, well, what was it that drove me to think that I needed this thing? And it was so much of the fear. So I was investing into this thing from a very fear-based place, right? Very kind of like, how would I say it? Like, I wasn't owning any power inside of me. I was putting the success of my business onto this program. I was putting the success of how I market and how I sell and how I convey my offerings onto this thing that I'd bought, onto this technology and this other marketing stuff. And it wasn't from an empowered place. It really wasn't. So I want to share a few other things in a second about what I learned. But if you're watching this, I just want you to invite you into, first of all, just acknowledging with you that we've all done that maybe at some point. And I know a lot of people hold some shame around this. And I've also had a lot of clients that have come to me along different parts of the journey where they've invested a hell of a lot more than $1,000 into things that just didn't do anything for them. So if that's you, let's just acknowledge that sometimes this happens. We get very caught in the hype. We get very swept away in the promises and the magic and, you know, in the scarcity, buy now or the price is going to go up, and we get locked into, I want those bonuses and I want to invest at the highest level. So we just want to send some love over to you if that's you, because that's why I'm sharing this as well, because I think this goes on a lot more than people think, and then we go into fear around our own decisions and stop trusting ourselves. So that's the first thing I just want to invite you to reflect and give yourself love if that's you, right? Because we've all done some level of that, even if it's a $10 course, right? It could be any number. It doesn't have to be a specific number here. So that was me. And then what happened is every month when that direct debit came up out of my bank account, I'd feel the pinch, I'd feel the pain, and it was like every month 1, 2, 3, month 5 and 6, it was like, this is awful, every month I get this reminder that this money is coming out of my business account. And so what it did though is it taught me some really valuable lessons, really valuable lessons that I feel that I obviously needed to learn, and I am now grateful for them, you know. And the first thing, I just sort of covered it, is number one is like, now never invest, and I never invest or make decisions about anything, let alone investing in courses and programs and coaches and mentors and guides, from a place of fear. So if that's you, I really want to encourage you to just check in with yourself, because there is a lot of marketing, and I feel like it's such old paradigm crap. There's a lot of marketing that drives this fear into people, like FOMO, fear of missing out, this fear of like, if you don't do it now, you'll never be able to do it. And I know there's a strategy with the marketing, and sometimes people do need a reason to move and to take action, but I really just don't love that energy. And so I hope that we can, you know, hopefully raise the standards and change this paradigm, because the only time now if I ever do that in my own business offerings is when I'm genuinely saying, right, maybe I decided to do a sale on something for a specific time, and there's going to have to be a cutoff for that date, right? So I'd say today's the last day for XYZ, but this kind of generating this like real deep psychological fear in people is I think it's very 80s way of doing business and marketing, which I'm just not a fan of. So never invest and make decisions from a place of fear. And then the second one of that, which was a really big one for me, I really learned that one, is never make decisions from a pressured place. So it's slightly different to fear, but never make those decisions from a very pressured place, because sometimes we can get sucked into that adrenaline, those magical promises that people are making, do this and you'll receive this. And what I found, I might have mentioned this somewhere before, it was really funny when I learnt this about myself, that I knew not to make decisions from like a lower vibe place, right? I knew I'm never going to make a decision if I'm really tired or really hungry or really angry or anything like that. But what I hadn't learnt yet was, don't even make decisions when you're on a real magical high, because that isn't so balanced either. And on this particular investment, I had made that decision when I had been really, like, I was on day 3 of this 5 days, and it was hyped and it was like powerful, and it was, you know, really got people going, and I kind of succumbed to that. So that's my second thing I learned. It's like, never make decisions. Oh, hey Steve, yeah, you can fit, you agree with that? Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It's like sometimes we forget, right, that we get so hyped up, and it's so easy to get carried away, right? Making decisions from this like high vibe place. So I always now, as a result of that and some other lessons, is I sleep on things. Even if I'm tempted to go, yes, I'm in, I'll just hold off, especially the bigger decisions, and just make sure I've slept on it and really come back. And it might take a few days for me to really know more of an evenly balanced place. Sometimes it's just the next day. So I never make pressured decisions. And then the third thing that this taught me was even mistakes are valuable. So I have this kind of, I guess, personal philosophy of, I don't really see mistakes as mistakes. Like I don't really believe in mistakes. And I know that's, might be triggering for some people, but just on my own experience, I think it just depends on how our perspective is and how we look. So for this particular investment, you could have technically called it a big mistake. I really felt like it at the time. Like I said, every time that direct debit came out, it hurt. It hurt just to see that money go out, right, at the time when there was like not much coming in. And I've had clients that have done the same. They've invested, cleared their bank accounts, and they've invested like high ticket, maybe with a coach or a mentor. And I'm not against those because I have my own offerings in that way. But it's like sometimes they've done that and it hasn't brought any results. And then they have really just, they feel like they've screwed up. And I've done quite a lot of work with quite a few clients now where we've had to almost repair that, heal that, because sometimes people, they start to believe that they can't trust themselves. They start to believe that they're not very discerning, or their intuition has served them wrong. And I just want to invite you, or any of you watching even later, to know that, mistakes, Steve, mistakes are part of learning. Exactly. And I feel like if you can just take whatever you would perceive as a mistake and just know, like, what did it teach you? Like, I know I just shared a couple, like it really taught me, but above all, it taught me more than anything is to follow my own soul. It's to follow my own inner guidance. So not to say that we don't want to be seeking outside help, because I continuously do when I need to, and I will always do that. But follow the soul and really tune in and not give your power away in areas where you really can. So in my situation, so it's interesting, in my situation, it was about the marketing and the way that I was selling and maybe writing up sales pages and explaining my offers. For someone else, it was very soul aligned to invest in that and get someone to do it for them, right? Or generate the copy for them. But for me, the way that I work and what I'm here for is very personal. So that particular task, if I was following my soul, it was never going to be something I was going to hand over in that way. There'll be definitely other things I'm quite happy to hand over in my business, like never to be done again, but those ones were personal. So now, after that kind of experience, I learned that, like, I'm happy to write my own stuff. It doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to sound like a real business. It's like, it's just a note from me to you, or to whoever's reading. Here's my offer. This is what we're going to do. Are you in? And that's how I like to do it. So I really learned how to follow my soul. So I want to encourage you to really, those three things, like not to make decisions from a place of fear, not to make decisions when you're feeling under that immense pressure. Don't be afraid to just step away. There aren't lost opportunities. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? You're not going to miss out. And understanding that anything you've done to this point, they're not mistakes, they're learnings, they're growth. Maybe it costs you, maybe, this could be could be relationships, could be business, could be anything. Maybe it cost you, but there was a lesson there, there was growth there. And if nothing else, if you cannot see the lessons, if nothing else you've learned, you never want to do that again, right? So there's always a lesson, there's always something to learn. So I wanted to just share that with you because it caught me out. It was an excellent reminder. Definitely helped me on my journey. Never did that again. And it definitely made me stronger and more discerning. It got me over that whole go with the hype thing that we see a lot online. There's a lot of it, and I do see a lot of it still, but I'm hoping that we will go into different frequencies and start to create in very different ways. So I'm trying to remember that in my own business, and sell and market and do these things and make my offers in the way that I like receiving them. And really, I guess that's all we can do, right? So I wanted to share that with you. So other than that, I hope you're well. And if you, just a couple of ways I can assist you if that's something that you find difficult. So let me see. So I've got a few offerings. The first one would be good if you just need some guidance. And what my guides do as I channel is the guidance that they give is very direct, but they also connect you back in, which is why they're such a pleasure to channel, work with, hang out with every day. But they're so good at getting you connected into your own truth, but they will give you information and direct soul level and soul aligned guidance. So I offer laser focused channel sessions. They are so just quick and easy, 20-minute sessions and 40-minute sessions. So check those out if you just need like some answers, like question answers, get you unstuck. Let's just get in there and channel. That's because that's sometimes really, really helpful. And then I have, what else would be relevant here? I've got a beautiful bigger container. So for those of you who want to go all in and really do all the kind of inner stuff over 5 months, that is like my highest level way of working at the moment. So it's all in. We go and clear and release and heal and integrate and reprogram you and get you moving, and it's very, very deep level. So the all in 5-month package, I'm going to leave links. So wherever you're watching this, I'll put links for all of these things. You can just check them out. And then the other one is more lower cost, but high value still. It's my monthly membership. And that's a great place if you want to really keep connecting back into yourself, keep this expansion and growth happening, and get supported as you go. The Awake Revolution Soul Team is a great place. Monthly membership, you can come in, you can stay for as little or as long as you like, cancel anytime, and there's so much goodness. I'm in there every week with different sessions. We do a lot in there. So that's a really good way of helping you connect back in. And all of what I'm talking about and offering is all about guiding you back into yourself. So absolutely everything. So even though I can channel and I can assist you with the healing and the growth and the emotional work and the mindset and the action pieces and the creativity, we do a lot. All of this is very connected into you as a soul. So just be sure, whether you're working with me or with anyone or on your own path, really just making sure that you're tuning into things that are connecting you back in, and you're not following other people's soul blueprints or business blueprints or strategies, because that's what a lot of people do. And by the time people come to work with me, they've done a lot of that. So I'm often the guide for people who have tried everything. I like the kind of tough nuts to crack, right? I often get not all of them, but a lot of clients come to me when they've tried absolutely everything, nothing works, they're just exhausted, and they're just like kind of stroppy and fed up, and then they end up coming to me and we do all the deeper stuff. So, or equally, if you just have found me earlier in your journey, then also here to assist you. So I do lots and lots of things. So I will put the links wherever you're watching this. You can just check them out for yourself if any of those feel resonant with you. And a reminder for you to let you know and remind you that you're a magical, powerful soul, and you came in with a soul blueprint. So it's a balance of seeking help and guidance when we feel that we need it, but also never at the expense of our own knowing, never at the expense of our own soul guidance, right? So if I had just stopped for 5 seconds on that journey and just asked myself, soul, is this aligned for me? Truly, is this the program that I need? I'm pretty sure that if I had asked myself the question, I would have got a no. I really do, because I think that would have been such an obvious no, but I was so not following that. I was all up in my head and looking outside, and just everybody else was powerful apart from me. So that's the lesson, right? So thank you for listening to my story, and I hope you took something away from it, or even just a confirmation or a reminder of what you already knew, because that's just as powerful sometimes, just to hear it from outside of ourselves. So I send you so much love wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in your journey. I am here if there is anything you need assistance and guidance with. I have my book, I have my membership, all the ways of working. I got some free masterclasses as well, by the way. So I'll just put links. If in doubt, if you're watching this right now and you don't see links, just go to theawakerevolution.com and everything you can find on there. All right, so thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you again soon. Lots of love. I'll talk to you soon.